Shalom, all praises to Yahawah, bahasham Yahawashi, bahasham Kodash. Double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that rule well and labor in this word and doctrine. Shalom, meaning peace. May that be unto the elect. I just read the title, I've not read the title before. But yeah, good title. Good title. Let's just listen, man.
I do believe that the act of getting vaccinated is the very essence of what the Bible tells us when it says, love thy neighbor. Right?
Yeah.
Because what we know is, one can ask, well, who is one's neighbor?
See, better that you're asking now rather than preaching. But is it actually? We'll get into that.
Is it the person who lives to my left, lives to my right? I know that.
Well, we'll find out in it. Okay. So all praises to Yahawah, bahasham Yahawashi, bahasham Kodash. We're going to kick this off in 1 Corinthians 14 and 34. Let your women keep silence in the churches. And that doesn't mean, because, it's not a Gothic cathedral, it's not considered biblically a church. Let's get into that. 1 Corinthians 14, 34. Your women, that's probably, what does it say? Yeah, gune, like gynecology or misogyny. So, churches, ecclesia, a gathering of citizens called out from their homes into some public place, an assembly of the people convened at the public place of the council for the purpose of deliberating, the assembly of the Israelites. And I heard at least even there, preach, sister! Might as well scream that out. Scream that out! But on a serious note, that was horrible. On all levels of it. So it says, a gathering of the Israelites. So when the Israelites are together, any biblical matter should be conducted by whom? So it's 1 Corinthians 14 and 34. Let your women keep silence in the churches, for it is not permitted unto them to speak, but they are commanded to be under obedience, as saith the law. And I said, it's better that she's asking questions. And I said, but really, is it? 1 Corinthians 14 and 35. And if they will learn anything, let them ask their husbands at home. For it is a shame for women to speak in the church. I'll pause on that. And they said, let's search that out. Love thy neighbor. And then they want to know, well, who is your neighbor? Well, we'll just read Mark 12 and 31. And the second is like, namely this, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. There is none other greater commandment than these. And really I should have read up. Right, from 29. And Yahawashi answered him, the first of all the commandments is, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. Right, just in the English verbatim. Right, Shema Yasharallah, Yahawah Alahayanawa, Yahawah Achad. In the Hebrew. 30. And thou shalt love the Lord thy God, right, Yahawah, thy power, with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, with all thy mind, and with all thy strength. This is the first commandment. And the second is like, namely this, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. There is none other commandment greater than these. Let's just search it back up again. Right, so Leviticus 19 and 18 is the first time this is verbatim in the King James. And we will. We'll read from 17. So Leviticus 19:17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. Right, so that is in line with not hating him. Right, someone say, why are you hating? When someone's been corrected or rebuked or reproved. But really it's not hatred. But in any wise, thou shalt rebuke thy neighbor when they're going off, and not suffer therefore the sin to be upon him. What does it say, rebuke? You have to go into the reverse. Right, your car. Right, in any wise, Yakach. Oh no, sorry, Yakach. To prove, decide, judge, rebuke, reprove, correct, be right. To decide, judge, to a judge, to appoint. To a judge, appoint. To show, to be right, prove, to convince, convict, to reprove, chide, to correct, rebuke, to be chastened, to reason together, to argue. Alright, so all of them hold true, for true. Alright, so that's the first part. Alright, so 18, Leviticus 19:18. Thou shalt not avenge, nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am Yahawah. So the children of thy people and thy neighbor, they're the synonyms there. Okay, and also when you read up a bit, the same concept is talking about your brother. He's also referred to as your neighbor. So brother, neighbor, children of thy people, and it's affirmed again, neighbor. So all of them are synonymous. So your ach, who's your brother? According to the scripts. Now of course Esau's your brother, but he's not your brother. You know what I mean? The brother is the children of thy people. Who are thy people? The Israelites. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. So the Israelites are your neighbor. Let's search up let's get the word neighbor. My neighbor, my neighbor. Neighbor, Rai. Not to be confused with evil. So it says friend, companion, fellow, another person, friend, intimate, fellow citizen. Right, for example, the city of Jerusalem. Another person, it says weaker sense. Another, so it says other, another, reciprocal phrase. Let's try and find it when it says neighbor. There it is. Exodus 11:2. Speak now in the ears of the people. Let every man borrow of his neighbor, and every woman of her neighbor, jewels of silver and jewels of gold. And there it is. I'll read it in fact. Verse 1. And Yahawah said unto Moses, Yet will I bring one more plague upon Pharaoh and upon Egypt. Afterwards he will let you go thence. When he shall let you go, he shall surely thrust you out altogether. Speak now in the ears of the people. So who are the people in this context? And every man borrow of his neighbor. Right, so the people, they are their own neighbors. Every woman of her neighbor, jewels of silver and jewels of gold. The Lord gave the people favor in the sight of Egyptians. Moreover, the man Moses was very great in the land of Egypt, in the sight of Pharaoh's servants, and in the sight of the people. So who are all these the people? In contrast to the Egyptians, they are the Israelites. Let's go back into this word neighbor. That's a wrong verse, that makes sense. So neighbor. For example, Exodus 20, verse 16, Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Let's try and find, bear with me. It's lucky. There it is. We've just seen that as well. Oh, that's a good one that I missed. Leviticus 19 and 16. A good one is in bearing witness and shewing record, and to the point being articulated. Leviticus 19:16. Thou shalt not go up and down as a talebearer among thy people, neither shalt thou stand against the blood of thy neighbor. I am Yahawah. They're thy people, neighbor. Who are your people? The Israelites. For example, Matthew 1:21. And she shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Yahawashi, for he shall save his people from their sins. And who did he say he was sent unto? St. Matthew 15, 24, but he answered and said, I am not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. A translation comparison. For example, the NASB 20, the New American Standard Bible. But he answered and said, I was sent only to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. NLT, then Yahawashi said to the woman, I was sent only to help God's lost sheep, the people of Israel. For example, that bears witness to the people. So who the people are. We would have healed Babylon, but she cannot be healed. Okay. So I'll leave it there, man. That's complete. And the max. Don't take the max, man. Don't be General German. Don't trust your German enemy. Gehenna. Okay, I know what the Germans did. I know about all that. I even know, did he bring up, what's it called again? I can't remember. Basically, in the south of Babylon, you had enough jade get injected. Is it Tuskegee? And there's also one Muskegee. I'm not sure, I might have got it mixed up. I think that's correct. If not, please correct me in the comments. Nonetheless, don't take the max as well, man. And loving your neighbour, it's not taking the max. That's ridiculous. Giving all praises to Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, bahasham, Racha, Kudah, Shalom.